The Punisher vs. Deathstroke, Assassin vs. Vigilante. Clips of the Punisher loading his weapons, intercut with Deathstroke sharpening his sword. Close-ups of the Punisher's skull emblem and Deathstroke's orange-black mask. Hey everyone, welcome back to another epic showdown. Today, we're pitting two of the most relentless figures in the comic book world against each other. On one side, we have Marvel's ruthless vigilante, the Punisher. And on the other, DC's ultimate assassin, Deathstroke. So, who would come out on top if these two titans clashed? Let's dive in and find out. The Punisher, Marvel's vigilante. Alright, let's kick things off with the Punisher. Or as his friends might call him. Well, actually, he doesn't really have friends. Frank Castle was once a decorated Marine, a family man who had it all. But life took a dark turn when his family was tragically caught in the crossfire of a mob shootout during a simple picnic in Central Park. This heartbreaking loss ignited a fire within him, transforming Frank into the Punisher, a one-man army on a relentless quest for vengeance. Driven by a personal war against crime, the Punisher doesn't play by the traditional superhero rules. No fancy powers, no spandex suit, just sheer willpower, a massive arsenal, and a whole lot of anger. His military background? Top-notch. We're talking expert in special operations, guerrilla warfare, and tactical espionage. He's a master of firearms, explosives, and hand-to-hand combat. Basically, if it's lethal, he knows how to use it. Some of his most impressive feats include dismantling entire crime organizations single-handedly and holding his own against superhumans. Remember when he went toe-to-toe with Spider-Man? Yeah, our guy doesn't back down easily. Deathstroke, DC's deadliest assassin. Switching gears, let's talk about Deathstroke, aka Slade Wilson. Now, if cool names were a competition, he'd already be winning. Slade started as a U.S. military officer, a true soldier through and through. But after a secret experiment intended to create super soldiers, he gained enhanced physical and mental abilities. Think Captain America meets Sherlock Holmes, but with a much darker streak. From there, he became Deathstroke, the world's finest mercenary and assassin. His motivations? Well, they're a bit complicated. While he operates on a professional code, always honoring his contracts, he's also deeply entangled in personal vendettas, especially those involving his family. It's a tough balance being a dad and a hired killer. Deathstroke isn't just strong, he's superhuman-level strong. Enhanced speed, reflexes, intellect, you name it. He's proficient in pretty much every form of combat and weaponry out there. Plus, he has a healing factor that makes him incredibly resilient. He's like a Swiss Army knife of destruction. His feats? Oh boy, he's taken down entire teams like the Teen Titans, outsmarted Batman, and completed missions that others wouldn't dare to accept. If there's a high-risk job, Deathstroke's your guy. Head-to-head comparison. So, how do these two stack up against each other? Let's break it down. Physical abilities. Starting with physical abilities, the Punisher is in peak human condition. Years of military training and his relentless war on crime have honed his body to perfection. He's got exceptional pain tolerance and endurance. This guy can take a beating and keep on going. Deathstroke, on the other hand, has superhuman enhancements. His strength, agility, and reflexes are all beyond normal human limits. He's faster, stronger, and can react quicker than any ordinary person. Combat skills. When it comes to combat skills, the Punisher is an expert marksman with all kinds of firearms. Pistols, rifles, sniper guns, you name it. He's also skilled in multiple martial arts, making him deadly at any range. Deathstroke is a master tactician and martial artist. Not only does he excel in unarmed combat, but he also wields a variety of weapons, including swords and energy staffs. His combat strategy is often several steps ahead of his opponents. Weapons and equipment. Now, let's talk gadgets. The Punisher carries an arsenal of conventional and heavy weaponry. From knives to rocket launchers, he's got it all. He also uses body armor and stealth gear to gain the upper hand. Deathstroke comes equipped with advanced armor that's loaded with tech enhancements. His Prometheum sword isn't just any blade, it's virtually indestructible. Plus, he's got various high-tech gadgets at his disposal. Tactical intelligence. In terms of brains, the Punisher employs guerrilla warfare tactics. He's a master at adapting quickly under pressure and using the environment to his advantage. Think of him as the ultimate survivalist. Deathstroke possesses genius-level intellect. His predictive combat skills allow him to anticipate and counter his opponent's moves before they make them. He's playing chess while others are playing checkers. Experience. Experience-wise, the Punisher has extensive urban combat experience. His battles against organized crime and supervillains have prepared him for just about anything the city streets can throw at him. Deathstroke has global operational experience. His missions span across the world, involving metahumans and complex geopolitical scenarios. He's not just a fighter, he's a strategist on an international scale. Ideological clash. But it's not just about skills and weapons. Their ideologies make them clash even more. Moral code. First up, their moral codes. The Punisher believes in delivering permanent justice to criminals. He operates outside the law because he feels the system has failed. In his eyes, he's doing what needs to be done to keep the innocent safe. Deathstroke works for whoever pays the most, but he does have his own set of ethics. He's not a mindless killer, he follows a code and sometimes even acts with honor. He's walked the line between villain and anti-hero on multiple occasions. Methods of operation. Their methods differ too. The Punisher takes a direct approach. He uses overwhelming force and isn't afraid to make a scene if it means taking down his target. Fear is one of his tools, and he wields it effectively. Deathstroke prefers strategic planning. He executes calculated strikes and often avoids unnecessary conflict. Precision over power is his motto. Psychological profiles. Diving into their minds. The Punisher is driven almost entirely by the trauma of his family's death. This singular focus on vengeance isolates him from others. He rarely forms close relationships, seeing them as distractions from his mission. Deathstroke struggles with the duality of being a family man and a mercenary. His relationships, especially with his children, are complicated and often strained. He's haunted by his past decisions and their impact on his loved ones. Impact on their worlds. And the ripple effects? The Punisher forces other heroes in the Marvel Universe to question their own morals and the effectiveness of the justice system. His actions often highlight the gray areas between right and wrong. Deathstroke is a wildcard in the DC Universe. His presence can escalate situations quickly, and heroes know not to underestimate him. He's a game changer, whether he's acting as an adversary or, occasionally, an uneasy ally. Hypothetical battle analysis. Alright, time for the main event. Let's imagine how a battle between these two would go down. Scenario setup. Picture this. An abandoned cityscape, perfect for a showdown. Both are on intersecting missions. The Punisher is targeting a crime lord, while Deathstroke has been hired to eliminate the same target. Neither is willing to back down. Strengths and weaknesses. Breaking down their strengths and weaknesses, the Punisher. Strengths. He's relentless, resourceful, and packs a serious punch with his arsenal. He knows how to turn the environment to his advantage. Weaknesses. He's still human. No superpowers means he's susceptible to injuries that might not slow down an enhanced opponent. Deathstroke. Strengths. His superhuman abilities give him an edge in speed, strength, and strategy. He's versatile and adapts quickly. Weaknesses. Sometimes, his overconfidence can be his downfall. Underestimating the Punisher could cost him dearly. Battle progression. The battle might unfold like this. Initial encounter. They spot each other and immediately recognize the threat. Bullets start flying as they test each other's defenses. Mid-battle adaptations. The Punisher sets traps throughout the area, using explosives and snare tactics. Deathstroke begins to analyze his opponent's patterns, predicting his next moves. Climactic confrontation. Eventually, they're forced into close-quarters combat. Fists, blades, and every trick in the book come into play. Both are pushed to their limits. Psychological tactics. They might even try to get into each other's heads. The Punisher could bring up Deathstroke's checkered past with his family, while Deathstroke could taunt Frank about the futility of his vendetta. Possible outcomes. So, who wins? Well, here's a few ways it could go. Victory for Deathstroke. Using his enhancements and superior strategy, Deathstroke could outmaneuver the Punisher, landing a decisive blow. He's got the physical edge, after all. Victory for the Punisher. Frank could exploit Deathstroke's overconfidence, luring him into a trap that neutralizes his advantages. Remember, he's beaten the odds before. Stalemate. They might both sustain significant injuries, forcing a draw. Both retreat, recognizing that continuing could mean mutual destruction. External interference. Perhaps another player enters the scene, a hero, a villain, or the very crime lord thereafter, altering the outcome entirely. It's the comic book world, anything can happen. Fan perspectives and crossovers. But let's not just take my word for it. What's the word on the street? Community opinions. Fans have been debating this matchup for ages. Some argue that Deathstroke's enhancements give him the clear advantage. One fan wrote, "Deathstroke is basically a super soldier. Punisher wouldn't stand a chance toe-to-toe. Others believe the Punisher's sheer determination and unconventional tactics could level the playing field. Frank has taken down bigger and badder foes. Never underestimate a man with nothing to lose, another fan points out. Comic crossovers, hypothetical. While there hasn't been an official Marvel-DC crossover featuring these two, it's fun to imagine how it might play out. Would they clash and then team up against a greater evil? It's happened before in other crossovers. Cultural significance. The appeal of anti-heroes like the Punisher and Deathstroke reflects our complex views on justice and morality. They operate in the gray areas, challenging traditional notions of right and wrong. It's this complexity that keeps us hooked and makes these debates so engaging. Conclusion. So, after all that, where do we stand? Both the Punisher and Deathstroke are formidable in their own rights. The Punisher brings relentless determination and resourcefulness, while Deathstroke offers superhuman prowess and strategic genius. The outcome of their battle could swing either way, depending on circumstances. At the end of the day, it's not just about who would win in a fight, but about what these characters represent. They're mirrors reflecting the complexities of justice, vengeance, and morality. And that's what makes them so compelling. Call to action. Thanks for joining me on this deep dive into one of the most heated hypothetical battles in comic book history. What's your take? Who do you think would win this epic showdown? Let me know in the comments below. Let's keep the conversation going. Just keep it friendly, folks. If you enjoyed this video, smash that like button and don't forget to subscribe for more awesome content like this. Follow me on social media to stay updated and be a part of our ever-growing community. Links are in the description. And hey, stay tuned because next week we're pitting two legendary warriors against each other. You won't want to miss it. Until then, keep being awesome, and I'll catch you in the next video. Peace out.